So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Beauty Lives podcast. And today we are joined by the very brilliant Kingwa Kamencu. And I'll do a short introduction. So, she's a multiple award winning writer and poet based in Kenya. Her published works include Women Kingmakers, Operationalizing a Politics of Care, Badili Africa 2024, The Shy Girl, published by Oxford Press, Nairobi in 2010, and To Grasp at a Star, published in Nairobi in 2005 by EAEP. So the novella, To Grasp at a Star, I love this. I love your titles. I really do.
Thank you.
The novella, To Grasp at a Star, won 3 major Kenyan awards at its inception. The National Book Development Council Manuscript Award. Wow. The Wahome Mutahi Prize and the Jomo Kenyatta Prize for Literature. And is currently on the Kenyan Secondary School syllabus recommended reading list. She also has published poetry and short stories in varied anthologies. She has also written scripts for popular television programs, e.g. Stay for K24 and Madam President, which is on YouTube and Facebook. Shall I continue? You're brilliant.
Thank you.
She's also published My Soul Begins to Flower, which is her latest poetry book, which I am so excited to have gotten today. Can't wait to dive in. So having had a highly fulfilling career as an arts and culture journalist for more than 10 years, she's set up a firm, Black Star Media, to further spotlight and highlight the work of the creative scene, and a nonprofit organization, Culture and Communication in Development, to give support to enable the well-being and sustainability of creatives. Financial literacy, institutional support training, and wellness training programs have been some of the most recent projects run to this end. She holds a Master of Studies in Creative Writing and an MSc in African Studies from the University of Oxford, UK, which she attended as a Rhodes Scholar. And she has many, many, many more. Oh my God, madam. You're amazing. You're a genius. I call you a genius.
Thank you. And you are as well.
Thanks. So how I don't even know where to begin. How do you feel today? How do you feel hearing this about yourself?
It's an interesting question. I don't think I feel anything.
Really?
Maybe because I don't even know why. Honestly, I don't know. But maybe I feel grateful. Grateful. So that's, I kind of like have many different areas in which I operate. So that's my writing bio. There's my civil society, community development profile. There's my politics profile. There's my entrepreneurship profile. There's my, what other profile is there? So that's one profile. So I think I'm not very, it's not an ego thing. Like, yes, I am so important, but not because of that.
I get it.
Like that's part of the manifestations.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm grateful. There's a time I used to have angst. I always be like, I'm not done enough. I'm such a failure in my life.
For real? At what point was that?
Sorry?
At what point?
After wait.
Half of this.
Listen, last month, I think I was awake at 3 a.m. And so somehow, you know how you're on, I think I shared a status, and then someone was also awake, and then they texted me. They're like, what are you up doing? Then I'm like, I'm stressed and depressed. And they're like, why? I'm feeling like a failure in life. So this month, last month. So, which is to say that I think there's a maybe I think I have a bit of a black hole in terms of achievement. Actually, I was thinking about that yesterday. That I think I have a voice in me that's always looking for validation, and one of the ways it does that is through achieving. So because of that, no matter what I do, I don't think I'll ever be like nimefika. And I think I've just been making peace with it. And maybe there's a time like I would have been so disturbed about it. But now I'm like, okay, let's play with it. What more can we do? Because I think I'm really good. Like, I call it super achieving. It comes easy to me. But now, for me, it's about, and I think maybe even the last 10 years has been about no longer it being an ego thing, no more it being defining me, but just doing it from fun. Because then what then happens is that if I don't succeed, then I'm no longer like, oh, life is over, I'm useless, I'm worthless. But I'm like, okay, I tried that, it didn't work. Like, I've tried so many things. Like, I think I look at life as an experiment. So it's when something works, I'm like, wow, that happened. Like, wow, that's so interesting.
What's the craziest thing off the top of your head that you've tried and you're like, wow?
What is the craziest thing that people would say that running for president
That
was the craziest, but I actually don't think
at
so.
27.
Yeah. In retrospect, was that I think the craziest thing was not just making the announcement. I think the craziest thing was actually staying the whole journey. Because we did the press conference and everything at the end of 2011, because the election was supposed to be in 2012. 2012, yeah, August. Then they moved it to December, then March.
2013.
So I think the crazy thing was actually going all the way and taking it seriously. But crazy things. There's a number that are in the folder.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting. Like, you're an interesting human being. So what do you do? So other than this, okay, I don't know whether I should actually first ask you about what inspired this. There's something about the energy of this book.
Wow, tell me.
First, I really just feel like I'll connect with it when I read it. And then I read My Soul Begins to Flower, and I'm like, how is it? It's so apt, because I've been at a stage in my life where I am starting to see my soul or feel my soul or understand my soul. I literally made a video just yesterday, I was editing it, about how I've started to realize myself, and that's my soul. So understanding my mind is an obstacle, just what you were telling me, and now wanting to live from my soul. And then I saw this and I'm like, this is so beautiful. I love it. So what inspired it?
Thank you. Interestingly, I've been writing poetry for more than 20 years.
Wow.
And I didn't know that.
Okay.
Which is to say that there's a time, like 2 years ago, I was spring cleaning. Like, I had so many folders and papers, and I was just getting them together. I came across a folder that had poetry, a big, big folder. It was just scribbled, like from so many years back. Because when I feel very strong emotions, I find that I end up writing. Like, whether when I'm excited, ecstatic, I write. When I'm sad, when I'm lonely, when I feel abandoned, when I feel rejected, I also write. So I actually had I threw away. I started by throwing away the poems. I don't know why I wanted to throw. I don't know why that was like my first instinct. But then somebody told me, "Wait a minute, can you just pick them up and just go through them?" So I put them together. Then I also remember that I actually have other poetry folders on my laptop, because I don't write poetry so much now. Now I actually just put it when a poem comes, because a poem comes, I type it out on my laptop. So I noticed that in my current laptop, I had a whole lot of poems. I noticed that in my old laptop, I had a whole lot of poems. And I'm like, wow, I need to compile them. So I did compile them. I sent them for, I think there were 2 poetry competitions last year, international competitions. So I submitted them. None, I didn't get like a shortlisted or awarded or something. But then I'm part of a program called Creating with Joint Hearts by Karin. You know Karin? Karin is in your group, Otherworldly.
Yes, Karin, the one who posts, yes.
And I can't pronounce her last
the
name.
The last name,
I can't pronounce her last name, but so she has like a weekly group where we meet and we talk about what are we creating this week. And so the idea is just creating, and it uses principles of creation that are completely different from the way we go about everyday tasks. So it's just about, you're not doing it to solve a problem. You're not doing it to make something painful go away. You're just doing it because out of the love of your heart. So the first 2 weeks, because I think I started attending maybe in February or January. So the first 2 weeks, I had no idea what I was just creating random things. And then the third week, I came up with a random goal came to mind. Like, it came with such a strength. And I had no idea how it was going to be resolved. Then the week after, this came as the answer of resolving that random goal.
Wow.
I'm wondering if I should talk about what the goal was. Okay, let me just talk about what the goal was. The goal for that came, not the goal, but the creation was I wanted to make 100 million shillings this year. I had no idea how. Then the week later, I don't know what I was doing. An idea came, oh, yeah, let's eventually publish our poetry book. Okay, how much should we charge for it? Okay, so we're going to charge like 1,500 bob. Okay, let's target to sell like 100,000 copies. Let's see. They were saying experimenting. Let's see if we can sell 100,000. Oh, that'll be fun. Then randomly I just said, oh, let's see. If we sell 100,000 copies, how much would that be? Guess how much it was? 150 million.
Really?
so it's not even about the how much, but it was about how it converged with the previous week. And I was like, this is meant to be. So, because previously I've been having those poems and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll self-publish. But when I saw that convergence, I'm like, this is the universe speaking.
Yeah, speaking.
Yeah, so now I even had impetus. So then my creation then for the next week was, I want to publish this book. So this book was published, I think, was it 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
So even since then, I've been on that creation process. So in terms of what inspired the publishing of the book, it's just that long story. But then, I also had an experience, I think it was in February, where I felt severely emotionally invalidated. And it was at the beginning, it was at February that I was still not sure, what do I want to do with my year? What do I want to do in 2025? What do I want to do with my organizations? I didn't have the answer. But then when that happened, those two different experiences, people close to me, that's when I was like, that's it. I'm validating my emotions. That validates my emotions. So that when I forget and abandon myself, that is central. That is central. That I am carrying my heart in my hands. Like my heart is out there and I am indulging myself. Because they say poetry is indulgence. And I'm no longer apologizing for indulging myself because why?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know what's striking me? And I'm smiling because I was going to ask, what is coming out to me is that the gift of your life, and I don't know what you think about this, but the gift of your life in this lifetime could be your emotions.
Whew, sis. Whew. Wow. Whew. That's giving me chills.
Because, like, I know I talk about emotions and I'm like, we should feel our emotions. We should be in our body. But this is I feel like that's the gift of your life. Your emotions are your gift.
Wow.
And it's through feeling them that allows you to express and allows you to change our lives.
And to live. And to even live every day.
And that means that even when you're having lows, there's nothing to invalidate. It's actually something, it's actually validation. It's validation of your existence.
Oof.
Does that make sense?
Completely. Like, I even these days, because in the past, I used to fight the lows. I used to wake up beating the lows. And those love attraction things, like feel good all the time, like... positive thinking. But these days, no. Like it's such a... Like, they're just... The low and the highs, they're all... Like, I no longer fight. I no longer fight the lows. I no longer... Like, I'm just... I kind of look at myself as a sky. So I'm like, oh, today we are stormy. I see, oh, today is raining. Oh, today the sun is radiant. And what you're saying about emotions, like that's profound. I think I've thought about that. I think the thought came to my mind once. And I think especially because I have very big emotions. So imagine when I'm swallowing my emotions, how much explosion is happening inside of me. And they say that depression actually comes because of when there's anger, very, very anger that needs to be there. Like all anger is valid, but then because especially women, we don't honor our emotions. We don't honor our anger. We are taught to silence, oh, it's not feminine to be angry. It's not. So because of that, when I would swallow my emotions, fight my emotions, I would end up getting depressed. And that's a thing that women do, that we invalidate our emotions. We deny ourselves so that other people can be bigger, be larger than lives. Yeah. So for me, right now, I'm like, no, I'm the only game in town. I'm the only story in the room. My emotions, my emotions are here and we are here. Like, we're no longer apologizing. We're no longer doing all that. Like, it's important. I can only be a human being. That's all I want to be. I only want to be a human being.
I love that. I really love that. I think you speak to so many. See, we were talking about being a goddess earlier, and I feel like a goddess embodies emotions. So it's a one thing we, as women, keep being, it's a word, we keep being
Punished
demonized.
for.
Yeah,
Thank
demonized
you. Yes.
about.
Yes.
It's the one thing.
Yes.
You're too emotional. You're too much.
Yes.
You're too this. You're too that. It's because of that.
It's also because who's telling us that? Patriarchy.
I mean, that's
Why?
for sure.
Why is it telling us
That's
that?
true.
Because it does not know what to do with our
To do with the
That's a
emotions.
control issue.
It's true.
That's a
but
power
also what I
issue. It's a
like
power
is
move.
what I love is that I'm finding I'm talking to a woman who's now starting to understand what to do with the emotions. So a goddess is someone who's able to be with the emotions, because it's the one characteristic that makes up a goddess, and then use those emotions or channel them or funnel them or whatever, what
even-
you do with them.
The thing about being the sky, just allow.
That's
It's just
true.
allowing. It's not even. There's not. The way they say it's not a doing thing. It's just.
It's a being
be.
thing.
Like, just be still
Imagine.
and let I don't know. 5 minutes from now, I might be crying. I might 5 minutes, 10 minutes from now, I might be like excited and exploding and dancing. I don't know. So and that's what they said. I think that's what they mean when they talk about being in the present moment.
Yeah. And if you're able to hold them, then it doesn't become my responsibility to do it for you. Because it wouldn't be fair on me.
Or to even to attack, because that's what happens.
Exactly.
If I tried to whatever you're gonna throw it back to me with such a force that it feels like an attack.
For sure, and you'll be defensive, and now it escalates,
Yeah.
it spirals down.
Yeah.
It's a very delicate dynamic, don't you think?
That's
I
interesting.
think there's so
and thank you
much
for your
to
very
say.
beautiful questions. Is it a delicate dynamic? I think because I've been practicing, it's like a dance, and I think because I've been doing it, kind of practicing without even knowing that I'm practicing it, it's been very unconscious. So I think I think now it almost comes naturally.
Yeah.
For the most part. Like, I don't think about it in advance. I've felt this. I've felt this, so what should I do? And still, even for myself, like on Friday, there's somebody I was texting with, and she just sounded so nasty. And there's a part of me that when I encounter someone being, okay, not nasty, she was not, let me see how to phrase this. So
She wasn't maliciously.
there was somebody who was
Malicious
trying to
about it?
schedule an interview, and I think she had low emotional intelligence, because in her communication she's sounding entitled. Like, in my head, I'm just looking at the messages. I'm like, in my head, I'm asking myself, at what point am I really going to? Is my dragon going to come out? Because I call it my dragon, and a lot of what I do is to notice when my dragon is waking up. Because when someone acts a certain way to me or says like, there's things that make. So I think she did or said 3 things that woke my dragon up. And the whole time I was like, should I fire my dragon fires on her? Should I keep quiet? I kept quiet the whole time. And part of me is angry at that. So now part of that holding emotions is even holding space for this part of me that's angry. Like it's like we're a constituency. It's like all of us are constituents, and everyone has an opinion inside us, and everyone's perspective is valid. And even this one who's angry, I will need to handle that, because otherwise the next time something happens now, she will overreact. So it's just a continual being with myself, being with how do I feel.
And I think that's where the work is. Being in the present moment sounds very simple, but I think that's where all the work is. It's easier to be in the future and in the past.
Actually, being with your body. How do I feel? How do I feel right now?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. This is giving me a whole different picture to being present.
Wow.
There's something about it's you're expanding the picture. You're expanding that frame for me. That's interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So other than this, I wanted to also ask, I'm curious about, I was also curious about the other sides of you. So maybe your spiritual side, what are your hobbies? What do you like? What do you not like?
My spiritual side. Interestingly, I think my spiritual side is this. Like,
Oh, wow.
I carry my spiritual side into everything.
I really love that.
I don't leave it out. It's not divorced. Like, in fact, that's why poetry, because poetry is spiritual.
It is.
Poetry is being with emotions. Poetry, and I'm trying for everything I do. Living from, I like how you talked about living from your soul. That actually was my intention. I want to live my life from my soul rather than living from my head, calculating, rather than living from, and then what are my hobbies? I don't know what my hobbies are.
Okay, what do you
Maybe
do
my life
for
is a
fun?
hobby. Maybe I'm trying to make my life a hobby. What was the other question?
What do you not like? What's like your pet peeve?
What do I not like? I noticed, maybe if I...
Other than patriarchy, you're very clear about
And it's so weird that I'm even talking about patriarchy because I don't call myself a feminist. But I've had experiences where it might not even be... Anyway, for now, what wakes my dragon up? Maybe let me answer by that.
Yes.
What wakes my dragon up is people acting a certain way. People being mean, people being rude, people being nasty, people being, especially when I've not provoked it. Because I can be like I'm very good at matching energy. If you're gonna be, so before, part of my breakthrough was I was always, I have to be good, I have to be nice, I have to be. Now, I love fighting. Like I love verbal petty fighting. Like I love insulting people on social media. Like I love it. Like before I used to be like, you have to be spiritual, you have to be feminine. That's feminine. What is this idea that feminine is gentle?
Timid.
In fact, that's part of my...
No, I mean, goddesses are fierce. Kalima is fierce.
I was just thinking of Kalima as you said that. I first came across her in American Gods, and she is glorious.
Yeah.
She is majestic. That is feminine. For me, that is... Feminine is not victim. Because patriarchy tells us feminine is all cosplaying victimhood. No. That's Persephone in terms of the Greek gods. Persephone is the goddess who was kidnapped by Hades, and so she spends 6 months in hell and 6 months on the surface. So that's actually that's depression. So women who are
interesting.
So there's the archetype of Persephone is a very interesting archetype. It's a woman who's not been able to step into her rage, because nobody will kidnap a woman who's in her rage.
No.
So there's different types of goddesses. There's the victim goddesses. There's I forget the other type of goddess. But what society tells us, what we are socialized to be is to be victim goddesses. And me, I'm not having any of that. I'm a greatness goddess. I'm an excellence goddess. I'm a wonderfulness goddess. I am a glory, majesty goddess.
When did you come to this realization?
That's a good question. I think it's been 10 years in the making, because I was part of what the book talks about is I went through like a dark night of the soul. So actually after the presidency, I was like, I think I was just left so burnt out, so dead. Like I was like just finished, so disoriented, discombobulated. So it's been 10 years of kind of like picking myself up. I like to use the analogy. You know that there's a quote, they buried us, they didn't know that we were seeds.
Nice.
That's what I look at. That I feel like I was buried. Even me, myself, I didn't know that I was a seed. So now is when I'm like, wow, flowers are showing.
Yeah. I love it. Wow. Oh, my God. See, I told you I can't script questions for you because you just say stuff and I'm like, really? Like, I love what you said about your spiritual life. Your spiritual life is your life. Can you say more about that? Because my guru, Paramahamsa Viswananda, has been talking about spirituality and saying that spiritual life is the life that you're living, and it's how you respond and react to the things that are happening to you every day. So it's not a compartmentalization. So how do you see that? How does that reflect for you?
Yeah, good question. So because for a while in that journey, it's easy to go to extremes. So on one end, there's the extreme of, it's all about the spirit and the soul, material things are evil. And then there's the other side, which does not even know what a soul. What is a soul?
That's true.
Show it to me, nakaje. Just very hustle culture, very
dry. It feels very dry.
I don't know. I think so. Maybe because I feel like there's a way in which I've inhabited the three worlds, and maybe my journey has been because I'd like move from one side, one extreme to the other. And I feel like maybe my journey is shrinking it's called what? Shrinking
spectrum.
Such that it's no longer, so there's a nice middle ground of keeping in mind the soul, centering the soul, but also looking at things like money and material things as there's a way in which they can be spiritual, but also spirituality, there's a way it can be material. So I think that's what I enjoy. Like, so even like in the past, like I've done like spirituality related programs and charged people to attend. And right now I'm very excited by materialism. I'm very, very excited by materialism. So that's why I have like a goal of making 100 million this year. We have, is it 9 more months to go? I'm a bit of a distance. I'm a bit of a distance from that, but it excites me. That's what matters right now. That it excites me. Because when I find that when I have excitement, there's truth there. Excitement maybe sometimes can also point to, I don't know if these are fact, maybe can also point to our, those unhealed patterns. Like when an alcoholic sees alcohol, they get excited. But generally, when I get excited, there's a truth that I find that I need to honor there. So even with the alcoholic, the excitement of the beer, what they need to honor is that the beer is not the excitement, they are the excitement, and that they are using the alcohol as an excuse. So maybe even it's like me saying, I am the excitement. This 100 million is me looking at money as an excuse to dance in my excitement. Yeah.
Wow, that's profound. That's profound. I'll need to think about that a bit more. And then there's something that crossed my mind as you were
And so
speaking.
it relates to also that the thing we think we are looking for is outside, but it's actually us. We're looking for us. I met with a poet on the weekend, a young poet, and she shared some of her poems with me. And one of the phrases that stood out that was about yearning. And it talks about, I was yearning for me all the time. So even for me, that spoke so much. Like even so you see all those two things on my bios. I think part of the reason I'm not so excited is because right now I've realized that it is me I am yearning for. It's no longer those external things I am yearning for. Like the deep yearning is my meanness, me in my fullness, being with me, being with my constituents, not abandoning them so that something can happen, not abandoning them. Like even the 100 million, whether it happens or not, is neither here nor there. It's just, it was an opportunity to connect with me. It was an opportunity to dance with me. It's not about,
Do you believe in God or source or something bigger than us?
I believe in quantum physics.
Tell me about that.
Like all those things that, I feel like I need to take a year off to just study. There's so much profoundness to it. When they talk about the observer effect, when they talk about the wave and the particle, like there's so much in physics that rhymes with, quantum physics that rhymes with a lot of the spirituality things. Like, and I think maybe a summary for somebody who would want to watch and understand, there's a documentary called What the Bleep Do We Know? So that really captures it. You've watched it?
Yeah, watch it.
So that gives a very, very good basic summary of those principles and how they correlate. So I don't know what I believe in. I don't even know if I believe.
Do you believe in yourself? Because there's some people who believe in themselves.
I don't even think that there's a self in me. Me as the vessel. So I'm the vessel and I'm here celebrating, like just receiving what the universe is giving me. So I don't believe in one, that Christian one God. I love the Greek mythology because of the different gods and what they represent. They actually represent emotional states. So and they represent emotional states and also people. like you can look at a person and say, oh, that's a Demeter type of woman. That's an Aphrodite type of woman. That's an Apollo kind of man. That's a Hermes kind of man.
Wow.
And even within yourself, you're like, you can say, oh, there's a lot of Hermes energy happening right now. So I love spirituality and mythology, like the Greek mythology, because of that. I mean, I read the Bible. I think the Bible has a lot of wisdom. I've read it many times. But I found that I found Christianity disappointed me when it came to sex, because like the time I used to have a very high sex drive. I don't know if I still do, but so that was a time when I was like deep in my Christianity, and like I used to like church, attending church very regularly, Bible study groups and all that. I was even an usher in church. But I had such strong, like I really wanted, like I had such strong sexual appetites. And there was a time I was going to pray every church, in church, and every time my prayer was something related to, please help me stop having all these sexual feelings. Please, like I think the prayer woman, like she'd even see me and she just says, I'm done. Like
confession.
Not confession. Like those times when if you have something to be prayed for, you go in front and then there's different people that can pray for you. So I used to go to be prayed for.
You would verbalize this?
No, but it's one-on-one, it's intimate. So it's not like at a microphone.
Yeah, no, for sure. But you'd verbalize this to this woman.
I tell her, like, I'm like, really struggling. Chick. Yeah. And then even like, so then we'd have like youth group, peer group things. And I'd try talking about sex. I know I want to talk about sex with me.
Interesting.
And I was so sad. I was like, how can't I talk? Why can't I talk about sex with? Like, why? Like, so I was struggling, and I didn't. I felt like there's something wrong with me. And in retrospect, no, there was nothing wrong with me. It's just that it didn't, maybe that space. It was even a church. At that time, it was a church in the UK. It wasn't even a church in Kenya. So maybe they didn't have the language. They didn't know how to deal with. They didn't have the capacity to deal with such a challenge. And maybe the people were not going through that.
That's true. So they didn't know what.
Yeah, they didn't know what to say. So so back just the question of I don't know what I believe in. I don't know. I don't even know. Do I believe in myself? I don't think I don't know. I think I just live. But I do speak to the universe. Like when I'm journaling in the morning, I say, universe, I need help with this. Please help me.
Yeah. Yeah, because it sounded like that. Like you have a recognition that the universe has a part to play in our lives.
It's definitely a dance. It definitely... Because when you talk about even the observer effect, like there's definitely a co-creation. Because even poetry, it's definitely a co-creation. Because and I've seen this very much in Karin's program, whereby you see the week when I said 100 million, then the week after an answer comes. Like, so there's a way in which it's a dance, call and response, impregnation, watering the seed. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what, but universe, nature, I think it's a woman. I think God must be a woman.
Expound on that.
Because that principle of, or maybe she's not, because the principle of fertilizing and watering, and you put something out and she gives something bigger.
In the Sanatana Dharma, they have that concept of masculine energy, feminine energy, and the masculine can't operate without the feminine, and the feminine is called Shakti. So the goddess is Shakti. It's the power that has to be injected into the creation.
Wow.
So it can't happen without her. Wow. So exactly what you're saying is what that brought to my mind.
Wow.
Like the woman is powerful. Wow. She's powerful because she can't, the world can't exist without her. Wow. And she's the one who, like you said, fertilizes or expands creation, or maybe even makes it become live.
Wow.
It can't just be dead.
Is the womb where we put the seed, and then it can grow.
Yeah.
And then
without her, it can't grow. So I guess that's why we also talk of Mother Nature or something like that. Yeah. So that brought
it's like mind. Electricity, like charging your phone.
Yes.
Like it's
actually, that's Shakti. That's exactly it.
It's very electric.
It's electric.
And people dare tell us that women are victims. Like what? Women have not learned their power. Like the world has gone by, the world we are has been existing because of standing on the backs of women.
Do you think the victim archetype came about for contrast purposes?
In what sense?
To show the woman the power that she has. Because if she was just power only and she didn't become a victim, she wouldn't know her power. And I think right now we are going back to that power. We've been victims for a certain period of time, and it was necessary. But I think it's about time, because I've just been talking to women who keep just pushing this narrative of goddess energy, empower, feminine energy.
Wow.
Let's wake up to who we truly are.
Wow.
And also, do you think it's just a woman, like gender, or it's feminine energy that can be embodied by both men and women?
It's an interesting question. I don't go so much into femininity, masculinity. I feel like those terms have been really
watered down and
like red pill and I don't.
Okay, cool.
But we
can keep it to just women because there's a reason why they came in that gender.
Sorry, and the question, just the question again.
Do you feel like it's the power, it's the feminine power, it's the feminine energy, regardless of the vessel it is in? So it can be in a vessel of a gendered woman, or a gendered male.
And that's an interesting question, especially in this time when people are being fluid and transiting from one. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I think I grew up, so I'm the only girl among my siblings. I have 3 brothers.
Wow.
So I actually grew up hating womanhood because of the power dynamic in the household, whereby, first of all, there's 3 boys. I'm the only girl. Then my father was not very pro. He was not very nice to my mother in terms of, I think he wielded power in a way that was not very nice. But it was clear that he wielded power. And so I moved to where the power was. And even as I said this about my dad, like he was, I think it's a generational thing, because that's a man who we've never slept hungry. Yeah. I don't understand what that means. At being sent home for school, I don't know what that is. I mean, so this man, of course, he had his own traumas. But when I look back, and so for a long time, I had rejected womanhood. I used to refuse to wear dresses. I had cut my hair short. I used to wear like only boys' clothes. When people would ask me, I'd say I'm a boy. And I think because of that, I think there's a way in which even till today, I had brainwashed myself that I'm a man. And I think even when I was later on coming into the wider world and like entering into politics, like I think in a big way it gave a lot of confidence to me, because in my head I was a man, like in my subconscious I was a man. It was then the society that then came at me. You're a woman. Who do you think you're a woman? And so that's actually what kind of like pushed me down. Like wow. Like what crime is it? Have I just committed genocide? Like what have I just done? But in retrospect, that was a very good thing, because I did not have. There's a way in which operating in the world as a man and a woman, they're very different experiences. And I didn't recognize, so I was kind of like operating from men power, like that power of assertiveness,
Yes.
But I didn't have, I'm trying not to use masculine, feminine. I didn't have the woman power.
Yes.
Which is a power of energy. It's actually an energy power. Like, how am I with this person? I think we make fun of how, like, when you watch The Real Housewives, a lot of it is about shade. Like the too small, how did she look at her? Like, oh, she called you auntie, oh, she's old, oh, like the small digs. And I think I didn't really honor that. So much as we make fun of it, there's a power to it. There's a power because it's about present. How self-aware am I? And how present am I? Because women, we are allowed to, we exist in the realm of energy. I think men also do, but men have switched it off. So they've not fine-tuned it. But for women, that is how we operate. Like, so there's a way in which you can behave that I'm like, oh, there's something I've done to Miriam. And I then I really have to honor that. versus if it was a man, he'd be like, oh, she hasn't said anything, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I wasn't really honoring that the small energy things, like the how am I presenting myself with this person, the
Like being crass, for example,
like
or just insensitive.
I think insensitive and also not gentle enough
Crass.
and tender
Yeah.
enough, because like gentleness and tenderness are what move me. Like you can come here and throw all sorts of insults, I'll just insult you back. Or you can try and give me all sorts of commands. Best of luck to you. But just gentleness, tender, like that's like, yeah, whatever, like, you know, well, of course, with boundaries.
Yes.
Like, and also with people who are healthy.
Healthy. I was going to say it has to be healthy.
Yeah, with people who are healthy and with people who there's honor. And so it's like, I think entering the world of womanhood opened a new universe for me, a new universe that I didn't know existed. You know, like, we're all in this world, but there's so many portals, so many universes, so many worlds. And I think
see that now.
when I got into this universe of being a woman, there's things that there's privileges that we have that men don't have. In fact, I was talking with one of my brother, and he was talking about how women can't be money shamed. Like we can be shamed for things, but you can't be money shamed. But a man, that broke man, deadbeat man, whatever man. So I've really been standing in the celebrating my womanhood, because for the longest time I really hated being a woman. For the longest time I believed that thing of that thing of women oppressed, women. Yeah. There is truth to that, but my truth is really, man. I grew up in I didn't experience that. Much as I come from like a patriarchal culture, so the Meru community, there's a way in which I observed how my mother and my grandmother handled it. They are wild women. They are feisty women. People think I'm mad. Like, people think they should. Ooh, so I actually had good role models of how to navigate the world. Like, they don't take nonsense. They don't understand what shame is. Well, my grandmother passed away, but so it was from seeing how they operated in the world that I got an understanding of power, of womanhood and power, outside of the victim narratives and outside of the all that. So, because one of the ways in which women's power is taken is you should not shout. You should be feminine. You should be sweet. You should be docile. Ha, my mother. Ha, my grandmother. Ooh. Like, my mother's been arrested more than once, more than twice, but for fighting for the rights of people. Like she's so willing to be chaos. She's so willing to be a hurricane.
I like that. And they name hurricanes after women.
Wow. Ooh,
they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so just being willing to be chaos and to be an agent of chaos, and not just even willing, but excited, like glad, like, oof. Oh, yes, baby, I will storm down on you.
I like this. You know what I love about this even more? I see the imagery of your mom and your shosho, and I like that it's not competitive. So they're not fighting.
Oh, they used to fight each other.
Not each other.
They were very, very, they had a terrible relationship.
Not even that. What it's in contrast to, we are, I don't know how this will come out, but I feel like being a woman, you can be a woman in your own skin, in your own right, in your own capacity. You can just be.
Yeah.
You don't have to fight for someone else's. Like, we don't have to fight for this seat. Yeah.
We actually don't compete.
There's no competition.
Like, since I came in, there was no, Miriam is doing this now. Like that's wild. That would be insane.
So I feel like a powerful goddess, a goddess is a goddess. She doesn't have to fight to be a god. And I feel like this is, and
she doesn't even have to fight other goddesses
either.
She'll even elevate them.
Exactly. I feel like one of the reservations I have, this is my opinion, the reservations I have about the way we handle things in the day and age we have is that one person has to lose for the other one to win.
Zero-sum game.
Yes. It doesn't sit well with me. And when you described your mom and your shosho, I see what I want. That's the kind of woman I want to become. And that's the kind of woman I want my sister to become, or my kids to become, or the women I want to see.
You are. Like,
I have started embodying it because
you are it. It's just the blocks. The work is actually taking out blocks on you, but you're it. There's nothing more you need to do. Don't do.
Yeah.
your it.
Because I had this same thing. I also really hated being a woman so much. It's so fun. I think we discussed this before. I didn't like it. I used to hate how it was narrated. The narrative was you have to be timid, you have to be docile, you can't do anything, you can't fight for yourself. And now, thinking about it, I think one of the reasons why I became a lawyer, it was one of the reasons why I became a lawyer. It was, my grandma was reminding me the other day, it's because I wanted to help my mom because she was also not in a healthy relationship. And her representation of women to me wasn't what I wanted. So I became a lawyer to help her out. So I wanted power as well. But I realize now that power it's not an external thing. It's something you're saying. I embody that power. And to be able to reach inside and take and embody that power, I have to accept myself as a woman. You mentioned that when you were running for president, people kept telling you...
That was coming up time and again. Where's your husband?
Oh my
God.
God.
Weren't you married? Oh, you as a woman, Siji, it is against our culture. Siji, like that, just that woman thing was just weaponized. In fact, that was the first time, like, oh, I'm actually a woman. But it was not the first time, to be honest, because even when I was in Sonu, when I was running for Sonu, that also came up. Like, you're a woman, you're a woman. In fact, I remember someone, because I ran for the Sonu, when I was running for the Sonu chair, someone came and told me, why are you trying to be a man? Let me tell you, I remember sitting down in Upper Kabete Hall. There was like a building which had like an open space down. I remember sitting there for 2 hours crying. In my head, I was just like, does it mean that being a woman, I can, means I only have I'm allowed only a little corner of the world? Like, if this is the world as a woman, I'm only supposed, and I really cried. Like, it was that was traumatizing.
It's traumatizing.
And I think, and so, yeah, that just continually being told about as a woman. And I think also having grown up had that, like, with hearing that and having issues with it. So my mother saying, as a woman, you should. That was part of the reason that I said, okay, so if as a woman I should, then I'm no longer a woman. A big part of it was about freedom. But to answer the question of if their fighting for what they wanted was always at the expense of somebody, actually, I think it was.
Yeah. I think I need to get my idealistic planet and live in it alone.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Just sit with that. Allow what needs to come to come. Don't throw it away so fast.
Imagine, do you know what? I would honestly want to have a healthy. I would want to have a healthy masculine. Like, I wish my dad, the father figure, the masculine in my life, the man in my life, was empowering.
Wow.
And then I wish the woman in my life wasn't disempowered.
Wow.
That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. I want to live in a society where everyone is empowered. Zero-sum game doesn't work for me because ultimately, don't you think that is what is happening? That we are empowering, it's a system issue. Patriarchy is a system. It's a systemic problem. I don't think it's a man problem. Like, men they benefit from the system that is oppressive of this other gender. That's what I think. But you can't fault, like, Victor, for example, and be like, because you're a man, I am going to hate you because you're most likely patriarchal. Like, I don't care. I can't, because I'm fighting patriarchy. I just see red.
I think where I'm at these days, I see life as a game, like, video games. It means that all universes are valid and all games are valid. The homeless person game is valid. The street child game is valid. The billionaire game is valid. The prostitute game is valid. The middle manager game is valid. So why should I go and take people out of games that maybe they're enjoying? In fact, yesterday I was in town. I was looking for loops, gold loops. And I actually walked all the way to, it's called Du Bois Road.
Yes.
Du Bois Road. Like, it was like such just seething with humanity and like, in my bougie days, I'd have been like, all these dirty, people. But I actually enjoyed it. I literally remembered walking, feeling like I really was enjoying that experience of just being pushed by people and smelling all sorts of smells, and you don't know if the mat is gonna crush you or and I was and the other thing is that also I passed somebody who he was a hawker. He was on his phone, so he was like sitting down temporarily, and then I think I saw the name Karen, and I could see how he has a community, like. And I realized that for a long time, even when I first was getting into politics, I was projecting my own issues. Like this person who's on the streets, they might have things I can learn from. They might have things to teach me. They might have things that are better than me in life. Why am I, just because I have some coins, why am I assuming that my life is better than theirs? And I'm not saying that because I'm against empowering and uplifting. That is very important. And even if I was in politics, I'd love to do it on a systemic level. But rather than that very patronizing, oh, you poor man, hawker, oh, come, I will save you.
I know. I am smiling because I was exactly the same. And I realized my mistake.
There's a time I used to be a hawker, but there was this group called DS Max Youth. It was called DS Max International. So we used to do promotions. But it was basically hawking with good English and good clothes. So, hello, my name is Kingwa Kamencu. We have a promotion of knives, but it was basically hawking. And that was even before I joined campus. So I was like super broke. I was like, living in not the gutter, but and I was remembering, and I was actually enjoying my life. Like I had like our small group of silly friends, and we used to meet and make silly jokes. But sorry, I catch you. You're saying that.
No. Like I was just agreeing.
You said something about mistake that.
I realized, that I also used to assume that there are hierarchies, but I used to assume that people down there, the way I used to think, there are people down there and there are people up here, and the people down there need to be saved. So that was wrong, because I realized later, no, these people are actually very happy. They're humans and they're living a human life, and I need to live my life. Because that's the other thing. I noticed that I wasn't inside my skin. See the embodiment we're talking about? Yes. I wasn't inside my body. Yes. So why am I projecting? I'm a projector, but why am I projecting my issues on people?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned mistake and wrong, and like that's flagged in when you said, because that was correct for them. Like without that journey, you wouldn't have.
Oh, yes. So that validates that journey. That's true.
Like there's no mistakes that you will make in life.
Okay, it's contrast. Because now I was able to learn and shift.
There's nothing that is wrong that you'll do. And I say that because we are socialized that to always avoid making mistakes. Like you never, what they say, you never get it wrong, you never get it done. And another thing I realize is that when you go to try to save those people, you transfer the karma onto yourself.
There's also that.
So even me, my 10-year sojourn in the valley of the shadow of death was me picking up karma that I had no business carrying. And it's until you've walked that path that you can learn it. Because until you've walked it, people will try to tell you, people will give you all the advice, but you have to walk the path of foolishness.
So damn
you have to stand confidently in your foolishness till you learn for your. And it's not like foolishness is not a bad thing. Like it's just part of growth.
Yes.
Like, and I love foolishness. I celebrate foolishness. I have such a soft spot. Like I have a deep love for foolishness.
Two last questions. We can't finish this discussion. I would love to have you back. But do you believe, so two questions. Do you therefore believe in the theory of the multiverse theory?
Do you know, I don't think I understand it well enough.
It's exactly what you said, that so the multiverse theory suggests that there is, for everything that's happening, for every possible possibility, there is a thread, or there's a universe that you're living that possibility out.
Yeah.
So when you say there is a hawker who's just happy with this community, that's true. Or initially when you brought this up, I was talking about someone who, maybe Victor and his patriarchal way of thinking, and he's happy that way. Everyone's way of thinking is valid, and they are living that out. So that's the
truth.
Theory.
Oh, okay, interesting. Thank you for that understanding. I've never thought of it like that. I always thought of it like in the realm of possibilities. Like 5 minutes ago, I might have stormed off. That would have been one universe.
Some say that.
10 minutes ago, that would have, like, and everything. So I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know for sure is truth and my truth. And before I used to try to cater to other people's truth. But now I'm all about my truth. This is my truth, period.
Yeah.
Like because every truth, that truth is a very dangerous thing, especially.
It's truth with small t, ama capital T.
I don't know. Like, because when people come and tell you, you should, as a woman.
Yeah.
Especially because I've had so many of those now. These days, I side-eye everything. I'm like, that is your truth. You did not grow up with my experience.
That's true.
My experience as a woman is so different. So where do you get off trying to... In fact, people who go trying to tell you how to do things are people to watch out for. Because I don't think... I'm trying to think of waking up. Do I wake up going to tell people this is what you should do? If I'm charging them and they're paying for it, yes. But Miriam, you're doing a podcast. To be serious, to really succeed, you need to do it like who's a famous podcaster? I don't know. But I'm not, because
Adele.
Because you're in your truth, you're in your universe. Why should I disturb it? My work is only to celebrate it.
Do you feel like the reason why I feel like there's so many voices speaking at you about being a woman and womanhood and all that? Do you feel like those voices are just there to remind you? And because when I compare it to me, that's not a rhetoric that's been in my life that much. And as much as I had the women problem, it's not been a thing. I haven't been challenged because of being a woman or anything like that. Do you think it's like the universe's way? It uses these people to keep reminding you to stop running away from your goddess power?
That's a good question. Because I've had that as a woman. I've also had as a Meru woman on top of it. Ha! 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 Whew. As a Meru, you're embarrassing the Merus. Oh, shameful Meru woman. And I don't even identify as a Meru. So now people are coming to yoke you, to put you into a chain that you have not even... My friend, I didn't sign up for this. Yeah? If you want to do your Meruness, do your Meruness. Leave me out of it. So an indirect way of...
Reminding you.
I don't know. I think people are generally bored and idle. And when they see somebody with a strong game, they're pulled to it. So I actually look at it as a magnetic force. I'm very powerful. I'm very, very powerful. Like, I'm so like, I enter rooms and all attention. I don't know if it's because I'm a third born, and so I have like a natural innate talent of, if I want to get attention, like it's like I can write books on how to get attention, like
you should.
So because of that, when I appear somewhere, my magnetic force pulls everyone to me. And they're not even maybe being malicious, to be honest. Yeah, so let me be honest and just say, I don't think they woke up and said, today I'm going to be to be malicious to this woman. I don't think it's being malicious. Maybe it's that sometimes people, when they are not fully in their power and they see a powerful person and they get disempowered and then intimidated, and so they communicate in a way that
they become defensive.
That does not bring out their best selves.
Yeah,
they communicate in a way that does not bring out their best selves. Which actually could be, I think, is what happened with the lady I was talking about on the Friday. So, yeah, I think it's more of my strong magnetic pull, and then people getting discombobulated because they're not in their energy, they're not in their power, so they get discombobulated.
What disempowers you? What gets you out of that power?
That's a good question. What disempowers me? Not honoring my energy. Like what I was saying about planning things in four phases, like the 2 weeks of just going all out intense and then allowing myself to just crash for that 1 week and then building up the energy the next week. So when I don't honor my rhythms, and it's small things like right now I'm like, I need tea, I need my lemon tea, I need to nourish, I need something right now because my energy is going a bit. So I need to fill myself up. So what disempowers me is, I don't know if it's what disempowers me or if it's like a car with fuel. Just driving removes fuel. Just driving defuels the car. So I think it's that same.
I guess
way.
the question would be, so I get that. But what is the thing? See, like how a car can knock. It has fuel, but it knocks. Because, what's the thing that would make your car knock?
What is the thing that would make my car knock?
That's that one thing.
I don't know if there's a one thing.
Or two.
I don't know. I don't know if there's one thing, but I find what I find is that as long as I'm monitoring everything, like I'm monitoring the fuel tank, things are pretty okay. I think maybe what would make me know is when I get out of my truth and I try to follow someone else's truth, which I tried.
You tried?
Yeah. Like I was trying to be that sweet feminine woman.
Or when you, yeah.
In fact, when people said, "Oh, you're trying to be president, you should get a husband," I literally went around looking for a husband.
Oh my God!
Like I did.
You're saying this now. I should have asked you whether those comments affected you. They did.
Yeah, they did. Because I got out of my truth.
When people look at that without listening to, that's why listening is important.
Wow.
And just knowing people and I'm grateful for your vulnerability, because now you've allowed us to peek behind the curtain to see what was really going on, because I feel like these days people just look at people or celebrities or whatever and they just assume what they see is what all there is. But now you've allowed us to see. What I've gotten from this conversation is I've been able to see the power of a woman for real.
Wow. In what way?
And even just using that example, the president, I can see you just didn't know that you were embodying the woman power. Wow. Does that make sense? You just thought conceptually that it was a man thing, or let me just go out, let me continue being a man because this is what's favoring me. But I think you are already embodying the woman. Like you said, I already have it. You already had it. You've never lost it. You just didn't label it as such.
And it was like covered in, it was like a light covered with layers of so much grime in terms of limited beliefs.
For sure.
Bad experiences from the past.
Which is where I'm asking you, do you think, that's where the question of, do you think the universe is basically screaming back at you, trying to remind you, wake up, you're a woman. It could have come in very negative ways, but it was trying to tell you, you're a woman. Yeah. So it's what you did with that information that would change, that would shift.
So that's profound, because they say that at trauma is about your soul has been splintered. It's in shards. And your work is to bring all the parts together. Yeah. They talk about when you're soulless, when depression, it means there's a part of you missing. Like there's something, you have to go and reclaim it. Because a big part of healing work is about reclaiming. And I don't think I had really recognized it, but that experience was actually 100% about me reclaiming my womanhood.
Yay. That's so cool. I also have goosebumps.
Yeah. So thank you.
I guess we can end it at that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so.